Bryshere Y. Gray became the hottest thing on television when he landed the role of Hakeem Lyon on Empire. He had so many plans for his career, and Hollywood held the door open for him to explore multiple options. With the ladies drooling over his bite-sized self and rumors that he was making about $20,000 per episode, Bryshere was living the life of his dreams. But everything came to a screeching halt when he got embroiled in back-to-back controversies. In the end, his personal decisions derailed his career, and he hasn't been able to bounce back ever since. Before we jump into other people's business, be sure to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of beef and bacon jerky, watermelon licorice, and butter toffee peanuts. Bryshere was born in Germantown on November 28, 1993, and was raised in West Philadelphia. At the age of 16, he became interested in rapping, eventually rhyming under the moniker Yaz the Greatest. After his first on-stage performance, he fell in love with music even more. He got a job at Pizza Hut and told Vibe magazine he used his first check to pay for a music video. He promoted it everywhere on Facebook at all hours of the day. He started writing rhymes while on the job and eventually got fired. Since he was unemployed and had a lot of time on his hands, he decided to commit every minute to making music. He met his manager, Charlie Mack, who is good friends with Will Smith. Through that connection, Bryshere was able to do a video audition for Lee Daniels' new show, Empire. Lee loved what Bryshere was working with, so he got flown out to LA to audition in person and was able to meet the show's other stars, Taraji P. Henson and Terrence Howard. And as we all know, the rest is history. During a chat with high school students, he revealed he was homeless at one point before landing the role on Empire. He said, "I'm living proof that you all can do whatever you all want to do." He indeed is proof that anything can happen as long as you stay focused and stay on the right path, which, oddly enough, turned out to be the two things he was unable to do in the long run. He also bonded with Taraji. He said, "I learned how to treat a woman from Taraji. She teaches me things on life experiences." He relocated to California and tried his best to stay on the straight and narrow path. He told New York Times, "You have to stay focused on what you want and not get distracted. Having too much free time can get you into trouble." With the increased exposure from being on the show, he capitalized on his newfound fame. He played the role of Michael Bivins in the 2017 New Edition miniseries, and he landed roles in Honey, Rise Up and Dance, Canal Street, and Sprinter. He had plans to release a studio album, and he also wanted to go out on tour. But then, in June 2019, he was pulled over in Chicago, and police found out the tags on his 2014 Rolls-Royce didn't match the registration. After further investigation, cops discovered he was also driving without a license or insurance. He was booked on a misdemeanor and later released. And then, just 5 months later, one of his friends spit on the floor inside of an Orlando 7-Eleven. Bryshere said he started cleaning up the spit while the clerk proceeded to yell and throw something at him. He stated he then grabbed a bag of chips and threw them back at the store clerk before leaving the establishment. No arrests were made, and cops promised to review the surveillance footage to find out what really went down. Although the results of the surveillance footage weren't made public, the incident served as a precursor to more serious allegations. Empire ended in April 2020 after 6 seasons. 1 month after the series finale, TMZ reported his landlord filed a lawsuit alleging Bryshere and his dog made a little over $26,000 worth of damages to a Chicago condo. The landlord was also seeking an additional $7,000 to cover attorney fees. We're unable to find the results of the case. And besides, that was the least of his worries. 3 months later, in July 2020, a woman named Candace Jimdar flagged down a Good Samaritan in Goodyear, Arizona, and asked for help. She later told authorities the argument began after she confronted her husband about having messages from other women in his cell phone. She said her husband said the messages were fake before attacking her. The SWAT team and crisis negotiators arrived at the residence a little over 10 p.m. They eventually persuaded the man to surrender around 7 a.m. the next morning. And yep, you guessed it, the man was Bryshere. He was taken into custody, and he looked almost unrecognizable in his mugshot. While being questioned by police, Bryshere defended himself by saying, "I have a career. I'm an artist. I have a lot of things to lose." He also referred to Candace as his best friend, and when the police asked if they were married, he said they were, in a way, but they also had an open relationship, and he was okay with her having a boyfriend since he was so busy with his career. It was later determined that they indeed tied the knot 9 months before the incident occurred. Candace later told the authorities that Bryshere was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and ADHD, and he refused to take his medication. He pleaded guilty in May 2021 and was sentenced to 10 days in county jail and 3 years probation. He was ordered to stay away from substances and to stay out of trouble, or he'd be locked up again. Well, in October 2022, he was back in some more mess after police responded to a domestic disturbance. The details of that incident are unknown. And then in November 2022, a woman in Maricopa, Arizona told police she was dating Bryshere, but his behavior escalated and she became concerned for her safety. His probation officer caught wind of both incidents, a judge signed a warrant, and Bryshere was locked up. The results of those charges are unclear. As of this video, Bryshere hasn't appeared in a film or TV show since Empire ended in 2020. Ultimately, his personal issues and his time away from the spotlight have led to his fall from grace. Do you think Bryshere can make a comeback? Let us know down below. And thanks for watching RRG.